Good evening. Welcome to our very first episode of Just Chat. I'm Ebony Monique.
And I'm Nneka. We are so excited to share this venture with you tonight.
We sure are, and we have a fantabulous show ahead for you. First, we discovered a growing controversy planted right here in Cleveland, Ohio. It turns out there's really a need for weed.
Oh.
And people of Cleveland are going to do whatever they can to make sure that medical marijuana is legalized.
And we've made our way behind the scenes of a local winemaker, Andreas D. Carr.
Is that what you're drinking right now?
This is exactly what I'm drinking. It's actually very, very tasty. This is apple Cabernet.
Okay.
And it's one of the favorites of this line. And you'll hear more later.
Well, I'm so sorry that I can't join you. I have to drink this tea. One moment.
Tea?
I know. That's because, as you know, I've been sick, the last month or so. So I had, I'm on antibiotics and all that good stuff.
Well, we understand.
Yeah, but really, me drinking tea is actually fitting because I wanted to go ahead and dive right into our Chatterbox segment.
Oh, you have some tea?
I have some tea.
Excellent.
So let me ask you this, okay? So I was reading on Facebook, and there was this long discussion on someone who will remain nameless. She caught her friend's husband cheating. The controversy started because she felt that she was not the person to tell. Okay? I have been in that situation a lot of times.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to ask you before I tell you, and get your wine ready.
Yeah.
Before I tell you what I would do, what would you do?
So I feel like I need the wine for this question because it's such a sticky situation to be in, and whether it's a husband or a boyfriend, whatever significant other, I will say that I think you have to know your friend, first of all, because not every friend wants to know.
I don't think that's true.
Well, no. Not every friend wants to hear the bad news about her.
Are you saying friend or woman? Are you saying that every woman doesn't want to know that their man is cheating on them?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
No.
Let me tell you, I have friends who have told me, okay, I'm going through some things right now, and if you see something, don't tell me.
Wow.
I have had that happen. So I've been the friend who have been in a sticky situation on both ends, right? I've been the friend who have told, right, what I've seen or knew, and I've also been the friend who didn't tell, and it was disastrous both ways. So I don't know. I mean, I think you have to know your friend.
So would you tell now?
Depending on my friend. Yeah, depending on your friend.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm telling.
And let me just say, not only should you tell, but let me just say, I want to know if it was me.
So you want to know?
I would want to know, but not every woman wants to know.
I think that's insane. But the reason why I'm telling is, first of all, I'm just that ride or die friend.
Yes.
Now, you can be mad at me if you want to. That's fine. But, if I care about you as a friend, then I care about you and your vagina. Okay?
Yes.
So if you're cheating on my friend, you're probably bringing her home all kind of nasty little diseases and stuff that'll make her itch.
Yeah.
And be uncomfortable and could be non-curable.
This is true.
Okay?
This is true.
So I need her to know that not only is her man being unfaithful to her,
but
wait a minute, let me tell you, but he's potentially putting your health at risk.
And this is true. However, you have a lot of people out here who already know what they know way before you come and tell them.
I hear that a lot. I don't know if that's true.
It's definitely true. You know what you got at home.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah, you do. Now, I would say that, maybe the first time when you are surprised or the first time that you've heard a story, okay, but once that first time is displayed to you, you know what you got.
So the first time you saying, okay, he cheated on me. And my friend told me, I found out, and I stayed. I took him back. So you're saying that because he cheated the first time, she should think that he's going to cheat again?
You know what you got at home.
So a cheater can't, become a faithful person? People can't change?
I think people can change. But you do know that the potential is there.
Okay.
So you know what you got. You know, and I mean, you know, just going back to, I mean, you just never know what people are going through, what they're living with, why they're living with it. You know, if it's truly a friend and they have expressed to you, and literally, I have had friends say to me, I'm going through some things. I know what has happened. Here's what has happened. And if you hear more than what I just told you, I don't want to know about it.
What kind of friends are
I'm
those?
telling you,
What
has
they
happened.
doing? So I know
It
that
has
are they
happened.
being faithful? Is this an open marriage or an open
Well,
relationship?
no, just people going through tough times. You know, just people going through tough times.
What?
And knowing that they're going through tough times might mean that, you know, emotionally they can't handle more than what they already know. Maybe they're trying to work their way through the tough times that they're in the midst of. And you know, delivering more bad news could be the thing that takes them over the edge. And so they tell you as a friend, I get what place I'm in, but I can't take any more. You know, and while you give your friend that respect while they're trying to figure out which direction that they need to go in. Now, I do also have friends who have said, I don't care, flat out, tell me, you know. Right. I don't care what, when, how, where, I want to know. So yeah, I think you have to know your friend. You know, I just think that, you know, people in relationships that are unfaithful, or, you know, it can take an emotional toll on people, and you have to sometimes treat that very delicately depending on your friend and the situation.
I understand that part, but I think for me, it's just, I'm thinking of the future consequences that are more detrimental than her emotional well-being right now. Yeah, if I'm telling you that, you know, your husband's cheating on you, and I got proof, because let me tell you, honey, I don't know, I'm the magnet of always finding my friends' husbands cheating on them. So, and I have proof, I videotape, so don't try it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I do. So,
Good friend to have here, lady.
I am a great friend to have. Again, ride or die. So, but what I'm saying is, to me, yes, I know it can be emotionally tolling, especially if you have a family and you're invested into this marriage for a long time. I get it. But the future consequence, to me, is more detrimental than the short-term emotional effect. And again, I'm bringing up the whole disease thing. You know, I mean, it's so much crap out here that you can get, even if you do protect yourself. Even if you do wear a condom, you can get a lot of stuff. So you're bringing all of that home to your wife or to your girlfriend or to whomever. So that's what I'm thinking about.
Yes. And I think that if you have come across a friend like I have, and let me just say, more than one of my friends have felt this way or have expressed.
And they don't care about their vaginas.
Well, I mean, you know,
they don't like their vaginas.
I wouldn't say that they didn't care about their vaginas as much as it was just a tough emotional situation. And you know, one of my friends was able to get through that situation, you know, in her own way, on her own terms. You know what I mean? And so ultimately ended the relationship. But you kind of have to give, especially, you know, when friends are going through those kind of tough emotional times as friends, when you know that and you have those heart-to-heart conversations with your friends about, because most of your true friends, most of them gonna come to you before you come to them. You know, and that's the time when you say just what you said. You know, your health is at risk. You know, you're worth more than that. You know, all of those kind of things. And I think it's important to make sure that you give that information to your friend. But once your friend, you know, acknowledges all of that and says, you know what, I don't want to know anything further than what I've already shared, you have to respect that. You have to be respectful of that.
I will respect that, but I'm going to still tell. Does that make sense?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, everyone out there, we want to hear from you. So go to our Facebook page, just chat with us, and let us know what you think. Would you tell your friend if you saw her husband or boyfriend cheating? All right. So listen, so moving on.
Please move on.
Okay. Okay, so let's move on a little bit because there's another topic that's trending.
What's that?
So we're both mothers.
Of course.
Okay, so apparently this mom is like getting dragged through the mud, okay, because of the incident where Harambe,
oh wow, the
gorilla, her 3 or 4 year old son fell into his habitat.
Yes.
And it was a very unpleasant situation where they had to end up killing the gorilla.
Yeah.
So what's going on now is that, you know, they're blaming the mom because they're saying that she didn't watch her kid close enough for that to even happen.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think about that?
You know, being that I am a mother of 3, and oftentimes when I travel to the zoo, I'm in a group with more than just my 3. And having had my own experiences where I've looked away really quickly and, you know, a kid can dart off. It's hard to say because, you know, we weren't there, and there, you know, so far we haven't gotten a whole lot of reports or different accounts of what, you know, exactly happened. But I empathize with the mother. You know, to have your child, you know, be in the midst of this big gorilla.
Right. 450 pounds.
I mean, and it's huge. And when you see the footage, I mean, I don't see how could you do anything other than have empathy.
Yeah.
Now, you know, should she have been, paid more attention? Of course. I mean, but you know, I just know that sometimes when you're at the zoo and there's multiple exhibits, right? I've had kids, you know, especially in close proximity, right? I've had one kid look at this and the other kid might, so you're trying to, you know, watch and gauge, especially if you have older kids who may be, you know, so I don't know. I mean, it's just really hard to say. But I can say that, you know, because that child was in harm's way, it's a child, it's a human being, and how could you think to do anything other than save a life?
Well, yeah. And I'm actually on the fence because, first of all, I posted this on my personal page on Facebook. And again, me saying I'm on the fence with, oh yeah, the mother should have probably been paying more attention, which is, you know, obvious. I mean, even if there was an accident, it was still a form of negligence.
Right.
But then the empathy lies where I'm a mother of a very active baby toddler. You know, and that's just one. She had 4.
Right.
Okay, so with just one, and I gave the example to a few people earlier yesterday. I said, well, you know, my toddler is so active where I literally was watching him look outside the window at his dad cutting the grass, and then I turned around because the dog was licking my ankle to tell him to move.
Yeah.
And I did that, and then I looked over and he's up the stairs.
Yeah, a split second.
And so people really kind of like crucified me on my Facebook page because I was like, dude, I mean, have some compassion.
Yeah.
They want to, like, you know, condemn her and send her to the 7th layer of hell. And I just said again, you know, people I think who have those opinions are either not a mother of multiples, and I'm not, but I still have the empathy, or they are just blessed to not have an active child.
Because you know, all it takes is a split second. Kids are very busy, and you combine it with an environment like the zoo where there are other children, your own children. Who knows if they were in a larger group aside from
so their excitement level is heightened.
I've been there. I've been there. I've been the parent, even with teachers at the zoo, trying to make sure you're managing and you have the head count and everybody is, because the kids are excited. They want to see everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
The one thing I will say that I think that she should be responsible for the financial loss of the killing of Harambe.
Yes. The gorilla.
Harambe.
Yes. Well, you know.
R.I.P.
Yes.
So, because, I mean, apparently he was 17 years old, and he was a big attraction for the zoo, what have you. I mean, they're having visuals and memorials for him. So, I mean, you know.
To play devil's advocate, she could talk about how, the baby shouldn't even been able to get through there anyway.
Because it was
in the first place. So,
right.
I mean, they talk about these enclosures. I mean, how safe are they if a child can truly, however long they may have been out of the parent's eye, if a child can truly see through and be in harm's way. So, I mean, you kind of, I don't know. I mean, I guess you kind of have to look at it both ways. I think there is some negligence, in my opinion, on both ends, the mother and the zoo.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. But I think that people actually did say that, and the zoo responded back by saying, well, it's been this way for 38 years or however long it's been open. It's our first incident. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of stuff coming out about it. I mean,
that's what people always say. We've always done it this way until the SHIT hits the fan.
The what?
The SHIT hits the fan.
Y'all know what that's spelled. Right. You drink some tea for that.
Right. So, I mean, and that's the excuse that people always give. We've done it this way for years. It doesn't mean that it was the right way or the best way, clearly, because we've had an incident now.
Right. So, again, on the along the lines of kids. So, our production assistant, Tiffany Harris, she found...
I love Tiffany.
I do so. She found an amazing story about, in the state of Wisconsin, that they are going to find the parents if their child is caught bullying other children.
I would never live there.
Well, Wisconsin, I mean, what's their cheese? I mean...
And fines for bullying.
Touché. So with me, I am actually okay with that.
Where does Tiffany dig this stuff up?
I don't know. But I'm okay with that. I'm going to tell you why. I think that it will make the parents become more attentive to the behavior of their children. That was deep, wasn't it?
No.
It was deep. I felt like it was
not
deep.
At all. So let me just, before I, do my sound off, I just want to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly. Okay, so you believe that if a child is bullied, then the parent should pay a fine, go through courts.
Yes.
Okay. And and you think that's gonna stop the bullying?
It won't stop the bullying.
Okay.
I don't believe. However, again, it will make the parent become more attentive to their child's behavior, because I think that, and we may have to get a child psychologist in here to really dig into this issue. But I think a lot of the aggressive behaviors from children are either witnessed from their household or witnessed by some form of their environment that's close to,
Yeah, it could just be, their friends from school. They're joining in on something that they see happen at school. I just think we take, and granted, there are some issues with bullying. I'm not going to discount that. But I think when you automatically move to a point of putting it in the hands of the court, then you have some other issues at stake here when you're talking about young children. Now you're talking about criminalizing behaviors that...
Well, I wouldn't say... we're not putting them in jail.
At the point that why are we even in court? What does a fine come?
Because your child is bad. Because your child is bad, and he's bullying other children who are obviously helpless to the point where they feel intimidated for them to notify their authorities, whether it's a principal, teacher, or what have you.
I think you've taken the opportunity for lessons to be learned from not just the parents, but also from a school perspective. So when you don't give the school leaders and the parents both to have a chance to mediate the situation, and everybody knows that, or the common practice is that, okay, my child was bullied, I'm going to the courts to seek, my just due.
They don't even have to go to court. They can just mail the fine in.
No, but the parent who's upset has to go to the court to file the complaint, right?
Well, or the school. We have to really dig into the details of it. What I do know is that the fine ranges from like $147 all the way up to almost $700. Now, I do think there should be like stipulations, because again, how is this investigated? You know, was the child really being a bully, or was he defending himself? I mean, you have to have, you know, things in place for you to be able to understand, you know, if this is really a factor. I would say that. And
all of those things can happen without the courts. I mean, regarding bullying. It's so many wonderful programs out there.
Nneka, it's so bad now, this bullying. I mean, children are killing themselves. You have you have more than just physical bullying. You have cyber bullying.
Yes.
You have, you know, all of that going on. So I think what they're trying to do is become so aggressive, and obviously they can't do it, you know. Like Malcolm X said, the first teacher of a child is the mother. Okay? So, if the schools, they may have tried to handle it, and they can't. They may have tried to contact the parents, and the parents aren't doing anything to help them with it.
Well, I think, you know, having, you know, being a mother, and then also having sort of a macro perspective of, you know, positive behaviors and things that go on to sort of offset bullying in school districts. I think that you would have to take a situation like that with a case by case. So if you run into a parent or a family who has been negligent after you've made several complaints, then I would say, sure, take it to the next level and do what you need to do to ensure that your child is safe. But to have that policy blanket across the board for every situation that, you know, I think it runs into dangerous territory, because then, I mean, we already have so many labels slapped on our kids. And so many behaviors of our culture that are already criminalized. I just don't think we need another set of circumstances that perpetuates that.
I just think I'm just so tired of hearing when a young adult or a teenager goes into a school and shoots the school up or what have you, and the parent says, oh, I didn't know he was like that. He was a good kid. He was cool. Blah, blah, blah. But then when you talk to like his classmates or the teachers, they're like, oh yeah, he was crazy. He used to, you know, torment kids all the time. So obviously who he was personifying was different at school than he was at home. Or is he the same person and the parents didn't know that? So that's what I'm saying. Okay, that's my take on it.
Just
because
just like you know what you got at home and your man, you know what you got at home and your kids.
We're talking about kids.
Well, I'm just saying, you know what kind of kids you have. You know what kind of kids you got, just like you know what kind of man you got.
But
so
see,
I'm not buying.
You're saying that because
I know my kids. When somebody comes,
why do you know your kids?
Because I know them.
Because you're the active mother.
Yes.
Exactly. You're the active mother, so you know your children. A lot of parents aren't. So, whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on from that. Okay, so have you heard about Snoop?
Yes, I have.
Well, he's high and vocal yet again.
Yes.
So apparently what happened, so earlier this week on Memorial Day, the new miniseries of Roots aired.
Yes.
Okay. And he's really upset about it. He posted like a long Instagram video, which was like profanity filled. And he said, I quote, I'm sick of this S. That's my Snoop impersonation. I'm sick of this S. How the F are they going to put Roots on Memorial Day? And I'm trying to like read it grammatically. I'm sorry. They going to just keep beating the S into our heads about how they did us, huh? Did y'all get that? Okay. So then he went on to bash the whole industry about, continuing to put all these slave movies on and, 12 Years a Slave and so forth. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I saw Snoop's message, and I think I can understand to a degree where he was coming from, but I take the opportunity to watch movies like Roots and 7 Years a Slave.
It was 12.
12 Years a Slave with my own kids. you know, as an educational experience,
Right.
because, you know, they don't get a lot of, you know, the history, our history
Right.
in our
school now.
schools. And so, you know, we use movies, we use books, and
Yeah.
you know, I just don't share in that rant of Snoop's. I don't.
Well, I'll say this. I don't think he needed to go as hard as he did in the paint. I mean, a nice little layup would have been fine. You didn't have to do, you know, all the post moves, but I just think I do understand where he's coming from, because I mean, it just seems like the entertainment industry will greenlight any slave movie. So I understand what he's saying from that aspect. Okay. But it does seem like, with all that's going on right now with, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement and so forth, it's so much happening right now where we're putting that out, and we're like jamming it down our throats about we were slaves, we were this. We need it. We do need it. But it just seems to be that that's all that we are able to show. That they will let us show.
Well, thank God for places like Just Chat where we can celebrate.
Celebrate the successes.
That
Exactly.
Snoop is sort of alluding to, that's missing from our history.
Yes,
because that's what this is all about.
and it really is. I mean, I applaud the remake of Roots. I mean, I watched the old series several dozen times, so I am excited about the new miniseries. But I do get where he's coming from.
Yeah, I mean, you can see to a degree, you know, what he means, but I think that, you know, as an African American mother, when my child is not exposed to it at all in school to any level,
which is ridiculous.
I mean, no Black History program. Wow. You know, when you don't have it, you know, you take those moments where you can, you know, make them teachable moments, especially, you know, seeing a movie, you know, something that's relatable for kids, you know, no matter how hard the story may be.
I just want there to be a balance. So if we're, you know, teaching our children what we've been through, let's teach them where we're going.
Yes.
You know, make sure they know, okay, the first, you know, African American heart surgeon. Let's know, you know, let's let them know that this is where we started, but we're going this way and where we're at now.
But you know, I think, you know, even with those movies, the sadness that, you know, a lot of them, of course, you know, they were very hard, you know, trying times for our people.
Yeah.
But even with that, there are successes, right? Like who knew? I mean, to have 12 years a slave start off with the fact that he was a free man,
right?
And
that blew my mind. I'm like, I wasn't ready for that. Like, wait, he was free,
right? So there are successes, and then that he was rescued, right? You know, ultimately, and that his family embraced him at the end. You know, so there are successes, you know, even in the sadness of our story. So you know, you know, we went through what we went through, but the fact that our people overcame so much, and you know, and are able to, and because of it, we're able to kind of stand on their shoulders and catapult our own seeds
and say we're bosses.
That's right.
So listen. So speaking of weed.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I had to go back to that. Speaking of weed, so what's going on with this whole medical marijuana bill in Ohio? It's coming back up, you know.
So, you know, it was taken to the ballot last year sometime. Right. Voters voted it down. And so what has happened recently in Columbus is that legislators have created a bill that will afford Ohioans the use of marijuana for medicinal purposes. And so, you know, since, of course, you know, Ebony Monique, since we have had such a hot topic happen down in Columbus, we figured we'd go and see what's happening here in the streets of Cleveland. What does our Clevelanders actually think about the need for weed?
Let's check it out.
You know, if it can help people, you know what I'm saying, those who, you know, with ailments and stuff like that, then, you know, by all means. You know, by all means. And at the same token, if some, I have not heard of anybody, dying from a marijuana overdose. I just never heard
Now,
of that.
what do you say to people who are not necessarily supporters because of the fact that they think that it's money being taken from the urban community or even the fact that, we have brothers and sisters who have been locked up because of marijuana use and possession.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you say to those kinds of reactions to legalizing marijuana?
To anything as huge as this is, there's always going to be some opposers. Nobody's perfect. No issue is perfect. Everybody's entitled to their own thoughts and opinions. That's their feelings, and they're entitled to that. I wouldn't get upset at them, what I'm saying, for feeling the way that they feel. But if you look at it in a business sense, it can actually produce a lot of revenue instead of it just being like a criminalized, issue, when it's something that can help people, not necessarily destroy them.
I personally don't have an experience with weed. I've never smoked it, but from what I've looked up and talked to people who do smoke weed, they've never had like an overt issue with it.
Okay. So what they're trying to do is make it medical marijuana what would be legal in Ohio. So people who would need it, for health reasons. Of course, they would have to have a doctor's, prescription and so forth. So what do you think about that aspect, with it being unlimited to medical patients and not like overall, like how Colorado, is like kind of a free-for-all? Well, in Ohio, it's not like that. What do you think about that?
I think it's a good start. I think it's like, in my mind, if I'm thinking from a government perspective, they're probably testing the waters to see, all right, from a medical marijuana standpoint, it makes sense we could definitely pass this for people who are staunch opposers to it. It kind of gets it at least started, and then people get a bigger experience of people who use marijuana from a medical standpoint. Does it really cause a problem? Testing the waters to see if people who do use it are okay, there's no any issues, and then from there, I get the feeling they'll probably go from there into recreational use.
I've seen it work to help people with certain medical problems.
Okay.
And also, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be legalized.
Okay.
For that purpose, yes.
Yeah. So what do you think the stipulation should be on it?
Oh, seizures. I know what it was.
Seizures.
It helps abate seizures.
Like epilepsy.
Epilepsy is one of them, yes. That is true. That is it, yes.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about putting limitations on licensing and the economic impact that it would have on communities?
Well, that's a different issue. Now we're into a different issue.
Yes.
That's a broader issue.
Yes.
That is more controversial than medical marijuana. But I think, why don't we just get it started? I think if we could start with medical marijuana, I think that issue will be a lot easier to approach, I think. I just think we need to, Ohio's a very conservative state, and I just think we start with the medical part, get that done. I think then we can jump to the other piece.
Hammering out the details.
Yeah, because that's a little more complicated.
It is.
That's a little more political.
Yes.
Is there anything else you think you should say to maybe that voter who's unsure about if they should vote for it or not vote for it? Since you're for it.
Yeah. If you have a loved one, or if you have a medical problem, that marijuana could abate, I think that you should think about how this could help somebody else. If not you, maybe it can help somebody else.
Okay.
And you should do it for that purpose. If it's to help somebody with a medical problem, you should do it. If not yourself, let it help somebody else.
So it looks like the city of Cleveland had a lot to say. What about defense attorney Rufus Sims, huh? He was really vocal, right?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Well, apparently many of the Clevelanders that we were able to survey share the same sentiments as Ohio State Senator Kenny Yuko. Senator Kenny has been an advocate for legalizing marijuana for quite some time, long before it was a hot topic. And so, to see his hard work and the stories that he shared.
Yeah, they were really, they
heart-wrenching. To see his hard work come to fruition. Check it out and you be the judge.
In 2015, there was another bill that we voted on as Ohioans. And this one would have just created the legalization of marijuana, period,
Period.
including recreational,
Yes.
something that I did not support.
Okay.
You know, my history with medical marijuana goes back a few years, like 13.
Yes.
And it goes back to the days when I was first decided I wanted to be a candidate for state representative.
Right. You've been fighting for this.
I was
for
still a union
years.
organizer at the time. I was still fighting for working people and working families. And I didn't like what was going on in Columbus. I said, you know what, I can go down to Columbus and do a better job. So that's what I was going to do. So what I did was I studied. I studied on all the education issues. I studied on the farming issues. I knew about transportation. I knew about the budget. If there was a subject that we were going to touch base with in Columbus, I tried to key in on those key components so I could talk intelligently virtually about any subject that he might throw at me. So as I'm preparing myself and working diligently, I buy tickets to go to a state dinner in Columbus. Pam and I go down there. A young lady walks up to me. She says, so you're running for state representative? What's your position on medical marijuana?
Okay.
And I'm there, what? Medical marijuana. I said, at my age, you know, growing up in the 60s with marijuana, you know, being very prevalent, I said, if I put two words together in that subject, it's more like Cheech and Chong and Willie and Nelson and Snoop and Dogg, but never medical and marijuana. You know, I said, what's this lady talking about? And I apologized, and I know I got her very angry because I kind of laughed at it a little bit. I said, I'll be very honest with you, I have never in my life heard of those two words being used together. I said, but I will do this. I will give you my card. You can call me in
Okay.
3 days, or if you want, you give me your number and I'll call you in 3 days. Give me a chance to look at it.
Okay.
I said, now my opinion may not change. I might still be laughing, or I might learn something new. I mean, this is a process about learning, so.
What a cool story. So the voters actually.
The voters,
inspired you.
absolutely. So
Can you talk about some of the details that are packed into the bill? What can,
here's what we can expect. Right now, we put together a commission. And here's the difference between, because there's a lot of confusion as to why do we change it, how do we change it. The House introduced the bill first.
Okay.
It became a House bill. And they put together a piece of legislation based on their listening. They had invited people down to Columbus for several weeks to hear their testimony. And basically the same people that came to our meetings did come down to Columbus to
Okay.
talk to them because obviously they didn't have a chance to have the state reps go to them. So they said, okay, if we have to go to them, that's what we'll do.
okay.
And they went and they testified. And boy, they poured their hearts out. They did a great job. But what this bill would do is it form a commission to be appointed by governors and the Senate President and Speaker of the House. And then we worked it out where the minority party leader in the Senate and in the House would each also get a say in the matter with one appointee. They would put together and they would make all the rules.
Okay.
And in the rules, it would say, first of all, who's going to grow, how much they can grow, how much it's going to cost, how much we're going to tax it, and put some controls on that. We also respect the fact that, for example, Richmond Heights, where you and I live, might not want someone growing, they might not want a dispensary.
Okay.
Well, we've given them the option, too, to look for local governments to opt out.
Okay.
If they want to vote as a city council and say, hey, listen, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you, but we're just really not interested in having any part of this marijuana in our city. We've given that opportunity. And then from there, we have to find out a way to get it to a testing lab. And in our language, in the bill, we talk about the fact that we've got testing facilities in the state of Ohio at our major colleges and universities, like the Ohio State University, that's capable of doing this, willing to do this, and ready to do this. Let them do this. You know, it's kind of funny because I found out that over 40 years ago, they recognized the fact that marijuana had a tremendous ability to help people improve on their quality of life. We had about 550 people come by and testify.
Nice.
We had, come by and witness it, and well over 50 people offered testimony. And they came from all over Northeast Ohio. And the stories were compelling. It was a young mom with a little page suffering from seizures every day. And the mom just looking for help. You know, a lot of people say, well, why don't you just move to Colorado? Move to another state. Well, a lot of them told us their stories. They says, first of all, we're paying, $7,028 a month for a medication that's not working for right now. But we also have other kids. And right now, our moms and dads are helping us babysit our other kids because we're often in the hospital.
Yes.
Our kids are having surgeries all the time. They're being
Wow.
rushed there on an emergency basis because they stop breathing. I mean,
And so we
we
don't
need that
even,
family
and
connection.
those stories are important because we don't always know the hardships that
You know,
many of these families face
I
and
don't know
the
if you
help that's available.
If you saw my floor speech when I was in Columbus, here's a lady who takes 52 pills a day
Wow.
to help her situation. It's not helping her at all.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have a young mom. I think it was her son had Dravet syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
and they really, really worked hard at controlling seizures, and nothing was working.
Wow.
Here's another mom with, again, another young child suffering
Yeah.
from seizures day in and day out, and costing the families tons of money that they'll never forget.
Wow.
Here's a decorated Iraq veteran, and he knows firsthand the stories from his colleagues with PTSD and the changes that they have to address. And then Nicole over here with our little Lucy, who is probably determined to be the most handicapped person in the state of Ohio. All these moms want is a chance for their
Yes.
daughters. You know what? This is not a cure, Nneka.
Right.
We're not going to cure what ails them, but we can stop the seizures. You know, a little bit of cannabinoid oil sprayed inside the mouth can stop a seizure in about 120 seconds.
Wow. So obviously these stories help to shape the details that.
They shaped my life. Are you
Yes.
kidding me? I mean, we went to homes, we went to hospitals, we went to nursing homes. I heard stories all the time about you have a handicapped child who's going to be a burden. Let's face it, all of their entire life. They're going to require 24-hour attention.
Yes.
They have constant seizures. They don't have an 8-hour sleeping cycle. They just don't. Your whole life is just dedicated to protecting that sick child. So you can't work, husbands leave you alone, you're a single mom now with this child, and you might have a couple other children you got to take care of, no husband, no income. So even if the medicinal product that we sell is affordable, you might be able to get it cheaper on the black market. But what we sell you in the dispensary has been tested. It's been proven. It's been designed with the strain specific to your child's need. You buy it off the black market, it might be cheaper, but you don't know what you're getting.
Yes.
You don't know if you're helping or hurting that child.
True.
But to the mom who's desperate, I don't think she worries
Right.
about that. She says, I got to try something, and I can't afford the real stuff, so I'll buy this other stuff. And taking us back in the wrong direction.
Yes.
This is not a perfect world, you know that.
Yes.
I wish it was, and I look at these kids, and from your role on the school board, I've said it a million times, our kids are 30% of our population, they're 100% of our future. We have to do better for them.
What fantastic stories that he just shared with us. I mean, Kimmy is just really, really awesome in what he's
Yes.
doing. And I'm going to share something with you. I actually voted against.
Really?
I did. I was one who was against the whole medical marijuana because I was one who thought that it would be abused.
Okay.
But
But
and
after hearing
then,
his stories, you would
I mean,
think.
and I ain't gonna lie, I don't like the smell of weed. But I mean, if you can eat it,
Really?
I don't like the
No.
smell of
Well,
I don't like the smell of
well,
it.
you
It's
can't
thing.
smoke it yet in Ohio.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like the smell of weed. I think it smells like, earwax.
Really?
It does. There's like, you smell earwax before? Yeah, it stinks. Anyway, so, but eating it. Hey, okay, that's cool. But no, seriously, in all honesty, I was really touched by, his effort and the stories he shared behind his effort, and to even know that he himself would be able to benefit from that because of his MS. So I'm actually on board now,
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens
Nice.
if it gets back on the ballot anytime soon.
Yes.
So your wine here. I mean, can you
Absolutely
just describe to
delicious.
me the taste?
Well, it's sweet. I love sweet.
Okay.
So, and at first glance, I thought that it would be a little dry, and I don't like dry. But
I
it's
like dry.
so not dry. It's sweet. It's tasty. It's very delicious. And we had a chance, Tiffany and I, when we hung out behind the scenes with Andreas Descartes to sample some other flavors.
His name is just like wine-like. What's his name?
Andreas Descartes.
Wow.
I told him it sounds all French.
It
right?
does, right? It really does.
But really the flavors are really delicious. He had a variety of flavors, and he's really making some really cool moves. Check it out. Dre, how did you get into the winemaking business?
Actually, it's a funny story. I used to own the OH10 nightclub, and they bought me out and tore it down. And I started making liquor popsicles with all the excess liquor I had.
Liquor popsicles.
Yes. So I tried the patent idea. They told me I couldn't use Patron, Hennessy, and Remy, other people's liquor. So I had to learn how to make my own.
Oh, okay.
So once I got into doing the research, it's not easy to make liquor.
Okay.
So I did the research and found out how to make wine.
Okay.
And I made a batch, took it to the barbershop. They like, it's good,
Yeah.
but it ain't potent like the popsicles.
So you started out at the good old barbershop, right?
Ain't nothing like-
Ain't nothing like it.
They gonna give you the truth.
That's right.
So I went to the teacher and asked them how to make it more potent. Teacher told me, and then that's when Andres Dakar started taking form.
Nice. Okay, Andre, so I have a glass of wine here. Tell me what I'm drinking. It's
She drinking a-
delicious, by the way.
Thank you. She drinking a blush plum. That's it's a 2015 varietal.
Okay. So as you were trying to break into the industry, did you find it very difficult in terms of the wine? Because you said you moved from wanting to, so liquor and wine is all the same, or?
No, it's totally
Okay,
different.
okay.
One you ferment, and
Okay.
the other you have to distill.
Okay. So as you tried to navigate that pathway in the wine industry, what sort of challenges did you find yourself coming across?
Some of the biggest challenges was to be accepted. It's not too many African Americans that manufacture wine in Ohio.
Okay.
So to get to the distributors, I had to make certain contracts and stipulations for them to even do business with me.
Okay.
So I agreed to them because I wanted to be able to keep prospering. So I now I get my bottles and all my things from the biggest distributor in the whole up north region. So it's finally working out. But I still do not use an Ohio grape.
Really?
Yeah, I tried to get some grapes from the vineyards out Geneva,
Okay.
and they want to sell them to me as if they already wine.
Okay.
So it's hard.
It's hard. Okay, so when you say you get your bottles from, are you saying that they help you with packaging, or you're just saying?
No, just the raw material, just the
Okay.
empty bottles,
Got
the
it.
cases.
Okay.
So I get like between 200 cases of empty bottles, and then
Okay. Okay. So how can people find you to get this delicious wine? How do we know where to go?
well, right now I'm in the process with the state and the federal department, so I can be in the stores.
Okay.
So I'm waiting on East Cleveland to give me the permit, and then I can go move forward with getting a license.
Okay. So it's all about getting a license first, and then
Right.
you can actually get in on the shelves in like grocery stores.
Grocery
or-
stores,
Okay.
bars, restaurants, anything in Ohio. That's what the
Okay,
license.
so is the licensing really expensive, or is it
not
challenging to
expensive.
get
It's just everything had to be
in order?
in order.
Okay.
And they came out to the premises and they viewed everything and they enjoyed, and they said that I have a good, they like what I'm doing.
Okay.
And now I'm waiting on East Cleveland. I need a structural engineer, and then I can move to the next stage.
Okay. So what do you foresee in the future for Andres Dakar? Once you get that licensing and you're on the shelves, what can we look forward to?
Honestly, I just purchased a building, so it's on Euclid in East Cleveland. I'm a native, so
That's
I
right.
try to bring everything back home. And I'm gonna open up a winery / paint type of party type of thing where people can come do tastings
yes.
and
Have fun.
right.
Well, but you already couple some other services now with your wine parties and offerings. What else do you do?
Well, I do massages. I do massage at Butterfly Effect on Mayfield, which is an excellent spa to come and just have a nice time, get your hair, nails. We're a full service spa, so it does
Okay.
everything.
Okay, so you coupled some wine parties with the massage parties and
Yes.
okay, nice. So I'm sure you're on social media.
Yes.
How
I
can
am.
we find you?
At Dre_OH10. That's my IG name, and Andres Dakar is my Facebook name.
Okay, so Facebook, Instagram.
Yes.
Okay, you got a website?
Yes, it's AndresDakarWines.com.
Okay, so there you have it. You can find Andre Andres Dakar on IG, Facebook, and he does have a website. You can also catch him on the Just Chat website because he'll be advertising some specials there too. So you're gonna give us a little bit more of what it takes, all the hard work that you put into actually bottling and making some of the wine. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else happens behind the scenes.
We run everything through the filter here to make sure that all the wine don't have any the clarity. We want it to be clear. We don't want nothing to be in the wine.
Okay.
So today we're gonna let y'all see the process of actually corking the bottles.
Okay.
So this is how the bottle's supposed to look. You shouldn't see anything floating around in the bottle.
Okay.
And if you do, it's no good.
Okay. So what do you do with the no good wine?
We throw it away.
Okay.
We don't sell or put nothing out there.
Max don't drink it.
He would love to.
Okay, so if there's anything, it has to be clear. All right, and so what is this called, corking?
Yes, this is an automatic corker.
Okay.
So it helps me with time. I'm able to do a case in about a minute or two.
Okay.
Versus the manual red corker.
Nice. All right, and so is this the black?
This is the blush plum.
Blush plum. Okay. Cool. And so Max is busy working away, corking the blush plum.
Yeah, after we cork all the bottles, we're going to take them and seal them, and then we label them.
Okay.
I know it's not the same.
It's not.
I really want to taste it.
Well, it's too bad because I want you to taste it when you can. Okay, it's very delicious.
Okay.
And you all will be able to taste it as well because Andreas D. Carr has a special prize, and Ebony Monique will tell you in just 1 second how you can win that prize. But the first prize is 1 free massage and wine package.
Yes.
And prize number 2 is 1 free tasting for up to 20 people, and his parties are a blast. I've experienced
the
them.
bomb.
They are so fun.
Yeah,
so
they're really good.
Ebony Monique, how can they win?
So listen, these 2 fabulous prizes, what we're gonna do, all you have to do is share this episode 1 of Just Chat on Facebook, and whomever shares it will be entered into the raffle.
That's right.
To win these 2 prizes. Very simple. 1, 2, 3. Share now. All right. All right. Well, that's it, Nneka.
Is that it? Well,
Yeah.
I love your dress.
Well, I'm glad you said that because let me just do a little promotion here.
Why not?
This fabulous dress, and I will stand up, but I don't feel like it.
It's so cute. Is it comfy?
It's very comfy. It's actually made by Cleveland's own Drew Christine.
How about that?
Yeah, she's fabulous. I have a lot of pieces from her, and she is just phenomenal. I'm sure you all know her. But she made this for me actually for my birthday about maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Really?
And I mean, the material hasn't given out. I mean, it's just...
We have to get her to come on and do a fashion show, Drew Christine.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Cool.
So listen, thank you all for watching. That wraps up our first episode of Just Chat.
Remember to tune in next week, Friday, 8 p.m.
8 p.m. And be sure to catch us and follow us on Facebook at Just Chat With Us, Snapchat,
That's right.
Just Chat With Us, Instagram, Just Chat With Us, and subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe
And
to
give
our
us your
YouTube.
comments. We want to know what you think.
Yeah.
We want to know your show ideas. If you think we should have a special guest on. If you've got...
Or if you want to be a guest.
That's right.
Let us know. Call us. And actually what I want to do, I want to really point out the female entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Okay? Because that's who we are.
Yes.
All right?
This is
So
true.
if you are a female entrepreneur doing big things, we want you to be on our Fly Girl segment.
Give us a call.
Give us a call. All right. Thank you. Toodles.